Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about affect and why it's important in what we do. Um, so, pretty much when we're talking about the perspective that we use here at the clinic, the TIR perspective, really looking at individual differences in the child and we're looking at our relationship. And one of the things that makes this model unique is that we are promoting the sense of self and the use of your relationship and helping a child when they're having, you know, some difficulties or when they're feeling great. But we want to be able to use our affect and our own personality related to our feelings and their feelings um, to make it a fluid interaction. And that's one of the things that really helps shift kids and help kids move forward. So, one of the things we talk about is affect. So, affect is using a lot of emotional tone within our language or our nonverbals to help support an understanding of what's going on within that child um, or to help upregulate the child, which means help them wake up and feel good. It may be for downregulating, such as helping them slow down and get more calm. And when we use affect, it's just a genuine way to interact with someone. We all have had experiences with people that are flat affect, and when we talk to them, it feels like you're talking to a robot and you're just not processing. And so, one of the things you can think of is the Charlie Brown show from way back when the teacher's like, it's just so monotone. And there's just no ability to process that. A lot of the children that we work with have a hard time with processing, which means their auditory processing skills and their visual processing skills may not be synced well together. And it may mean that they struggle making meaning of regular language. And it also may mean they struggle making meaning of gestures or physical cues that you're giving them or nonverbal cues. And so, unique to DIR, they talk about affect and they talk about affect being the glue for relationship and the glue that keeps things together. Right? And so, I think we've all experienced kids that when we are like praising and giving a lot of upbeat, light language, woohoo, that's great, we can see how that helps to support and continue them feeling good. And I think when you've experienced kids that are um, feeling upset or really intense and angry, and they're using really big affect, our affect that can be lower and slower can support more meaning for them and understanding. If a kid is really angry with you, you're saying, whoa, wow, yeah, I see. Something's really bothering you. Let's figure this out. And it's not the words that I'm saying, but it's more the affect that I'm using and maybe the posture that I'm bringing and the presence that I'm bringing. Slow, calm, predictable. And so affect is just so useful as a regulating tool to upregulate, get kids pepping and moving fast, give some beat, some rhythm to our voice. And then affect can be really regulating when someone is surprised, anxious, upset, angry. We want to use our affective showing that we're understanding. So when I think about this model, it's not about the words, but it's really about how we present ourselves effectively to help support that child. One of the things we talk about in early development is that affect is really like the instigation of change and growth and development with young children. For example, if you're working with a young baby who's learning how to crawl or how to walk, um, you might be there right next to them, using your tone of voice to get them interested um, and getting them curious about moving their body to a toy close by or coming to see you. Um, and when you use affect and the child processes you and looks at you, and you're using your gestures and your face and your tone of voice, they're making meaning of that. And that relationship with you can drive their motor planning skills. They might be more motivated to move their body because of what you're giving them at the other end. You're giving you, or you're giving a toy and you, whatever it may be. And so affect can really be such a great piece for motor planning and support. So when you're thinking about working with groups of children in summer camp or in groups in general, when you think about the use of affect, we have to think about, we may have some children that need like a peppy, light affect. Come on, let's go. Or, yeah, I can see that. You're doing great. And then we might have some kids that are over responsive towards a bigger affect. And that would mean, it's too loud, like that kind of information to them is just too intense. And so you have to be mindful of that. And so one size does not fit all, because the kids that we're working with all have different processing abilities and know what feels good to them. But I think what's really important is knowing that your affect really makes or breaks it when you're in a group setting. If the kids are getting upregulated, they're too high and they're too intense and they're, seem a little angry or edgy. If you're angry and edgy, it's just gonna snowball. But if you're that calm, slow, predictable person that's using affect and noticing, wow, something is really happening here, versus, hey guys, this isn't working for me, this is too much, and you're bringing too much high energy to the affect, that is not going to help to regulate. And so thinking about balancing the scale is what I often say. If we have a child that's really high up, then we have to come in lower to help balance their emotional state. And if the child is really low, then we have to come up with a higher affect, more energy to help balance the scale and find an even way to regulate. So that is just a couple thoughts about using your affect. Be real with the kids. You can show them that you get upset too, and that's fine, but we want it, hopefully, to be in a calm, collected way, and you could say that you need a little bit of a break. But yes, we don't want you to be fake with your affect. We want you to be authentic and notice, what the child is doing, paying attention, showing them good attunement, but use your own personality for how that works for you. Because everyone will have a different relationship with each child.